Before the video starts, please note that, obviously, none of the footage belongs to me. It respectively belongs to NewScapePro, link in the description. Now, because I suck at editing, this video will probably have some pretty low quality. So, try to enjoy it anyways. This is the NewScapePro SCP series. Season 1 starts off pretty simple. We get to meet Cory, who is basically the main character of every series in the NewScapePro channel. His face is a camera. Starts off simple. Wait, I just said that. He arrives at his job claiming it's his first day, not knowing about anything about the SCP Foundation, assuming it's a sausage, cheese, and pepperoni lab. As Cory arrives in, he gets to meet his friend Uni, who he's known for a while. Uni has the appearance of a dog man with blue hair. He's a scientist who is well experienced. He gives Cory the idea of what the place is really like and explains that nothing has to do with pizza here, which I think is obvious. Not very long in, Cory gets to meet his first SCP, SCP-173. Although this is not actually the first SCP Cory has met, this is also the worst day for him to show up, on a containment breach. He and his friend Uni try to stop it, but unfortunately, things go bad, and well, basically every SCP in the facility escapes. Just when things look bad and basically everyone is dead, we meet a guard who is actually alive. Let me clear my throat. Sergeant Cooper. He seems loyal and is very well trained. He willingly helps Uni and Cory help go down and get 173. Unfortunately, to do this, they have to use SCP-087. Thanks to Sergeant Cooper, they reach the bottom of the stairway, and then they meet Dr. O'Malley, who also decides to help them. Not because he wants to, but more or less because he has no choice. They don't seem to get along perfectly, but everyone has to work together to get back all the SCPs into their containment cells. As they try to search for answers as to where 173 is, and avoiding basically every other SCP, they get to meet another monster. By monster I mean SCP. This is the Tickle Monster, SCP-999. This is Cory's first encounter with him, and ultimately, they end up becoming great friends. SCP-999 makes people very happy, and so, just like everyone else they've met so far, 999 decides to join them. In order to alarm everyone else in the facility, Cooper willingly goes in to an alarm room. Unfortunately, it is guarded by SCP-035 and 053. And unfortunately, Cooper does get persuaded by 05... I'm sorry, I'm stupid. 049 and 035. Cooper unfortunately gets persuaded by 035 to put the mask on. And, ultimately, it does not end up well. God, I'm bad at making videos. Cooper, with 035 on his face, catches up to his friends in order to stop them, for 049 was about to show up. However, 999 came in, and, well, let's just say 999 not only saved Cooper from 035, but at the same time, it was also too late. Cooper's face was already very ashed up, and, well, he doesn't end up making it, unfortunately. It hasn't even been in half the season, and already one of the characters who we meet is dead, which is very sad. Rest in peace, Cooper. Rest in peace. As if 173 wasn't bad enough, they get to meet SCP-106, who, well, I think you might know about this SCP already. Let's just say, it's very bad. And just as things look bad, they ultimately ended up coming up with a plan to stop SCP-106. And basically, what they did was they trapped it with harsh lights, and ultimately, they saved Cory in the process. Then again, Cory never dies, except in the Undertale series. hey, remember how Cooper died? Well, meet Hooper, who is not a sergeant. He's a corporal, but he's basically the exact same person. The only real difference is the fact that he has a signature chin mole, and basically, he's the replacement for Cooper who died. So, you can get attached to this character instead. While searching for SCP-173 and several other SCPs while running from them at the same time, Uni monitors them and unfortunately gets attacked by SCP-610, and then becomes infected. And unfortunately, well, let me get to the next part, of course. Sadly enough, Uni does not end up making it out alive, and therefore, we've already lost 2 characters. And unfortunately, I'm bouncing around here. I failed to do things correctly. In order to avoid SCP-173, they throw SCP-999 at its face. And thus, they also stopped him, but unfortunately, they couldn't go any further with 999. Well, goodbye 999. See you in the future, unlike literally everybody else. Well, let's meet another SCP-079, a computer that O'Malley definitely does not like. Over the course of this episode, they end up talking to it and try to find a way out of the facility, because too many SCPs had escaped, they couldn't be recontained, and therefore the facility was going to go through decontamination. SCP-079, however, had the request to be connected to the internet. O'Malley didn't like this, but they ended up doing it anyways, and ultimately, he did tell them where they could escape. And thankfully, they were able to do so. After blasting a hole through the ground, they find themselves in the sewers. Just the 3 of them, O'Malley, Cory, and Hooper. And, well, they need to find an exit, of course. Unfortunately, they aren't the only ones in the sewer. There's SCP-682, the hard-to-destroy reptile. Yeah, roar away, buddy. O'Malley does not make it out of this. He does in fact get eaten by SCP-682. Cory, meeting SCP-682 for the first time, doesn't just end up running from him. At first, they have a nice little chat. They get to talk for a few moments before Cory decides, nope, I'm out of here. And, well, this isn't the last time they'll meet up. Instead of them, well, they find the exit, but unfortunately they can't break through, because they already used their stick of dynamite. And instead, SCP-682 misses them, and ends up breaking the exit for them, thus allowing them to escape. They have finally escaped the facility, and they are meted by the general of another site, in which they are instantly promoted to field duty, and thus, Hooper and Cory have survived the massacre. The containment breach. I'm stupid. Starting off in Season 2, they are instantly going out to hunt after SCP-1000, known as Bigfoot, and we get to meet a new character, Lieutenant Triana King, who will be leading them throughout these missions. And basically, well, she's a pretty good leader. She's rough, tough, and she definitely knows how to get her soldiers in order.
We are here to capture one of the most elusive...
Cory meets Bigfoot, but ends up deciding not to capture him, mainly because, well, Bigfoot seems too nice, and also because Bigfoot is just protecting his young. Whoops, this is the wrong scene. I suck at making videos. Please give me a thumbs down. Well, okay, this is probably a better scene to show, but it's too late because, I already just talked about it, so I suck. Cory went in alone while Hooper and Triana cover the exit. Unfortunately, they get attacked by another group formerly known as the Serpent's Hand. And, well, they somehow survived this. And it's actually surprising that they survived the gunshots. Just look. Actually, forget it. Okay, well, basically resuming, after they get knocked down, well, look, isn't that just a familiar face? Uni. Hello. The Serpent's Hand end up getting taken out, Bigfoot escapes, and, well, I'm not going to show the scene, but Cory gets to see Uni for just another moment. And guess what? Rawr. Well, that settles that. Triana isn't the only new character of this season. We also get to meet Dr. Patience, who helps Cory learn about certain other SCPs over the course of time. Here are a few examples. The Upgrade Machine. The Living Lego, where we also get to meet Bricky, Dr. Patience's assistant, who is an SCP. Larry the Loving Llama. Okay, you get it. Cory gets to learn about a lot of SCPs thanks to Dr. Patience. But in case you didn't know, Cory particularly does not care and is more or less just hungry. Arriving back at the base, we get to meet our other teammate, Lara. Well, to clear it up for you, she's basically the tech person. Like, you know how there's a superhero, they go after crime, and then there's the tech person on a computer with a monitor telling them about things. That's basically Lara here.
At ease.
In the episode of them meeting Lara, they hunt after SCP-096. And the reason I mention this SCP is because it's popular, and this won't be the last time we see SCP-096. Of course, they succeed in capturing it, but they also lost a man in the process. Thankfully, it was not one of them. We only lose characters who are not main characters, unless of course we haven't gotten enough time to know them. Or etc. Forget I said anything. So yeah, over the course of Season 2 and 3, they encounter things like other SCPs that they're hunting, Cory learns about other SCPs, and of course, they get to encounter the Serpent's Hand every now and then. And we get to learn about this new Uni, who basically seems to be an evil version that works for the Serpent's Hand. But we'll get to that later. Towards the end of the season, they find an underground base, which is where the Serpent's Hand end up taking a lot of SCPs that they steal from the Foundation. The main difference is that the Serpent's Hand does not test SCPs. And ultimately, well, there ends up becoming a raid. A battle between the Foundation and the Serpent's Hand at this place. The Serpent's Hand ends up falling down, and, well, they try to escape, but Cory and Hooper get on the submarine with them. Unfortunately, they encounter the Leviathan in the process. And, well, they crash onto an island. That ends up being the end of Season 2. With nobody else, and no other choice, Evil Uni willingly joins Cory and Hooper in an attempt to call the Foundation, in order to get rescued, because, well, they crashed onto a desolate island with basically no supplies. While they are on the island, they encounter SCP-001, except of course, there's more than one SCP-001. However, they do successfully capture it as a team, with Evil Uni helping them. And well, let's just say, this works. The Foundation shows up to pick them up just in time, especially after capturing the SCP. And well, they get a promotion and they get to go to Alpha Strike. And Evil Uni, on the other hand, well, he becomes a D-class. And this new general right here, well, I've skipped a certain something, but the old general got killed by a sleeping SCP. And basically, this is a Hooper clone. Next episode, Cory goes to talk to Evil Uni, questioning why and how he ends up looking like Uni. Except, this, as a matter of fact, is not Evil Uni. And instead of just showing clips of the episode, I'll just give it straight to you. This is a scientist named Dr. Bright, who ultimately got a hold of an amulet, which is SCP-963, Immortality. So, whenever he dies and the amulet is given to another body, his consciousness will be transferred to that body. And well, ultimately, he ended up becoming this person. Used to work for the Foundation, but saw how cruel SCPs were treated after dying over and over again, especially after he became a clone of Uni. And, well, I think you get the idea. Over the course of Season 3, Cory continues to learn about SCPs as well as helping his friends capture them. And that's basically how Season 3 is. But towards the end of Season 3, a certain something happens. The the clone Hooper general ended up dying out of, well, clones don't last more than a month. So that left Professor Otis in charge, and basically, he's a huge jerk and has really not helped anyone. As soon as he gets permission and takes charge, he decides that he is going to label Cory as an SCP. SCP-4000, the camera-faced human. It's not just because Cory has a camera for a face, but also because, well, he's extremely lucky in so many situations, and nobody's actually considered this, but he has an unnatural sense of hunger. Also, he is unaffected by several SCPs. Cory's friends end up deciding that they have grown attached to him too much, and they willingly help him, except for, of course, Hooper, who is way too loyal to the Foundation. So Dr. Patience, Triana, and Laura ultimately decide that they should break him out. And, well, here's what happens. Triana breaks Cory out, and then they ultimately decide they should help free Dr. Bright, who willingly joins them. And, well, I'll just let the scene play out. Actually, no, I won't. Here we go. They decide to help him out.
Hello? Come with me if you want to live.
Yeah, I think you get the idea. After Cory finds out SCP-999 is alive and in their facility, he decides to go free 999 too, but unfortunately, Hooper comes in the way to stop him. Well, and, Hooper ends up just taking the Foundation over Cory, and, well, here's what happens. Oh wait, I skipped the scene, but basically Cory shot his head off. In order to escape, they have to leave Laura behind so that she can deactivate the defenses. And well, let's just say, Cory and Laura have been forming a relationship over the course of time. And they're definitely gonna miss each other. Cory, Triana, and Dr. Patience arrive at the facility. And look, there's Dr. Bright in a new body. Well, by facility, I mean the Serpent's Hand base. They are no longer with the Foundation, and now, their goal is to help capture SCPs from the SCP Foundation, and instead of experimenting on them, make them more comfortable. Make them happy, in fact. After the Serpent's Hand has decided they can trust them, they allow them into a place full of almost infinite knowledge. The Wanderer's Library. Here, Cory gets to learn about the past of SCP-106. See, now you know why I mentioned him. SCP-106 was a soldier fighting in the Great War. He went into a hole, and, well, he came out and brought sickness and death upon basically everyone. And look how happy he is. Basically, he's an insane man. Do you think we saw the last of Hooper? Nope. Otis decided to repair him, and now, well, Hooper is a cyborg who really helps take control of the facility and basically leads along with Otis. This time, he is a lot more serious now, and he's definitely going to hunt after Cory when he gets the chance.
Tell me, what leads do we have on the traitors?
We believe that they've joined up with the Serpent's Hand.
That was to be expected. I trust they broke out Dr. Bright.
Yes, but soon we will have the location of their secret base, and then you will have your revenge.
I will have more than revenge.
That's right. That took too long. Triana is no longer leading the team. Instead, they get to meet someone new, Roger Carter III. Basically, he's this gentleman here. And, well, honestly, he's a lot like me. Whoops, I meant to press the pause. In the process of trying to save one SCP who had escaped the Foundation, Cory, both the Serpent's Hand and the Foundation go after this SCP. Cory and Hooper meet up, and, well, their reunion isn't too happy. But thankfully, the SCP sides with Cory and saves him. But that doesn't mean Hooper dies, because he's invincible. Are you wondering how they end up finding about these escaped SCPs? Simple.
Understood.
Laura's
We'll
still on their
intercept the
side.
rescuer
She
before the
contacts the
Foundation can
Serpent's
get their
Hand
dirty
through
hands on
secret
it.
messages. Unfortunately, Otis and Hooper do find out about this eventually. The Foundation ends up broadcasting a message where they are willing to make a trade. Laura for the Wanderer's Library. Unfortunately, they of course do not agree with this. And of course, Cory and Triana decide to go after
So what
her.
are we going to do? We're going to...
They manage to sneak into the Foundation by using an SCP, and they manage to get Laura out, but unfortunately, just before they escaped, their escape was blown up, and Hooper ends up catching them.
Crap. Looks like we just got to.
Triana! No!
Cory,
Did you really think this tin can?
With no use of having them around, Otis ends up deciding to execute them by sending them to the door to nowhere. And, well,
So what's to stop us from just
I don't know what to say.
overpowering you?
It's a signal, but
The Serpent's Hand finds out where they went and decide they can't let the Wanderer's Library be exposed. So they decide, hey, let's go rescue the rescue team.
Dark corner to hide.
Remember SCP-079? He's loyal to the Serpent's Hand. They used SCP-079 to radio the soldiers surrounding Otis and divert them away, allowing them to perfectly attack, without any problems. This included Hooper.
Get in the house!
Roger forces Otis into the building, in which, well, good riddance. Nobody liked you, Otis.
I guess I could just shoot you. Fine.
Haha, Otis go oof.
Maybe I can get out this way. This won't work, but no.
Bye.
That's all that matters.
Cory and his friends manage to escape.
Sure,
With
whatever.
that being said,
So this
well,
is Spectre 1.
Laura decides to join the Serpent's Hand,
That's me.
and
Welcome to the
that ends
Serpent's
Season
Hand.
4.
That is, if you want to join.
I think it's obvious I'm bad at making videos. I left out a lot of things, and of course, the story does not end after Season 4. Please drop a like on the video if you want to hear more. And of course, I'm sorry this was bad and I left out a lot of things, but this is just a summary. I am not legally required to put in every detail. But I think you get the general idea. If you haven't watched the series yourself, well, you wouldn't understand. This is just a basic idea otherwise. If you have seen it, you'll know exactly what I left out. I left out a few things on purpose, specifically for you to find out on your own. Otherwise, I just forgot because I'm stupid. Thanks for watching, you know the drill, and bye-bye.